Welcome in. Thanks for joining us for the latest WHHI Daily News, where we strive to bring you more Lowcountry news more often. I'm Bob Stevens. Hope you got your taxes done or your deadline extended. That's all due on Tuesday. Golfer Matthew Fitzpatrick has had his tax bracket changed a bit with his $3.6 million win at the RBC Heritage over the weekend. Harbor Town was closed for cleanup on Monday. When it reopens Tuesday, likely they'll keep the Sunday pins until Thursday and then cycle through the same hole locations they used on tournament weekend. Fitzpatrick already in New Orleans after having to charter a new flight Monday for his family to join him this week when he plays with his brother in the team event there. Life is good. We'll hear more from the newest owner of a spiffy tartan jacket on how he beat the crowd favorite and defending champ Jordan Spieth in just a few minutes. The best news for the tournament, besides the increased money the Heritage Classic Foundation will now be able to give its charities, is the almost universal praise from golfers who rarely visit the island. None more than world number one Jon Rahm, who'd never been here in April before, but after receiving a standing ovation as he walked up the 18th fairway, certainly sounded like somebody who wants to come back. The latest calendar from the State Department of Transportation on the widening of I-95 to 3 lanes each way can be viewed as a positive or a negative. Construction expected to begin next year, but will take until 2032 to be completed between the Georgia border and Exit 33. The project will be done in 3 segments between Exit 8 and the Georgia line, beginning in late 24 or early 25, then from Exit 8 to Exit 21, beginning in 2026, then from Exit 21 to Exit 33, beginning in 2028. The SCDOT hopes to keep lane closures to overnight work. This is actually a more optimistic forecast than the timetable we'd heard before, moved up because of American Rescue Plan dollars. Now, we all know how unpredictable Mother Nature can be, but already predictions are coming in on the upcoming hurricane season, and they are semi-encouraging. The forecast from Colorado State University researchers is for a slightly below average season, much like last year. They're predicting 13 named storms, 6 of them becoming hurricanes, 2 of those being major. That's about 80% of an average season over the last 30 years. They say the weather is trending toward El Nino conditions, which would tend to tear apart hurricanes. But they also say they are far from sure of that. And we've all talked about the shortages of doctors and nurses and efforts to alleviate those sort of shortages over the past few years. What about doctors for our growing pet population? South Carolina is facing a veterinarian shortage that Clemson is trying to fix if we're willing to spend $285 million for them to start the state's first veterinary school. Even if the state appropriates the money Clemson's asking for on the front end, it would still need to spend nearly $20 million a year in recurring costs. The national shortage of vets could reach 15,000 by 2030, the same year Clemson hopes to graduate its first class of veterinarians. The U.S. graduates about 3,200 veterinarians a year, but that number hasn't changed in a dozen years, while our pet population has boomed. Vets also report a high rate of burnout and even suicide. This might surprise you. There are only 32 accredited veterinary schools in the country. For more information on these and other Lowcountry stories, we invite you to visit the sources listed on your screen. We're going to talk much more about the RBC Heritage in just a few moments, but first, let's talk a little weather with Maria Soden.
Thanks, Bob. Yep, so taking a look ahead, it does look like we're going to break from all the rain we've been having, and we're going to see some beautiful weather all week long with plenty of sunshine and the temperatures getting into the 80s by the midweek. Taking a look at Tuesday, it's going to be sunny with Hilton having a high 72, a low 53. Bluffton's going to have a high 76, a low 50, and Beaufort's going to have a high 76 and a low 52. The sunrise for Tuesday is going to be at 6:50 and sunset's going to be at 7:54. Taking a look at the beach tides, high tide's going to be at 8:48 a.m. and low tide's going to be at 3:42 p.m. Taking a look into the rest of the week, Wednesday it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy with the highs in the 80s and lows in the 50s. Come Thursday it's going to be sunny with the highs in the 80s and the lows are going to climb into the 60s. And then come Friday it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy with the highs staying in the upper 70s and lows are going to stay in the 60s. That's it for today. Let's head it back to the desk.
Thanks, Maria. Much more on the RBC Heritage, including hearing from the winner when we come back.